Alright, just came home. This was dropped off. Powerland generator. It comes on a freight truck, so I think somebody has to be home, which my son was there. The weight on it, 202 pounds. It's a 10,000 watt. And my reason for getting this one here over the others was it's 8,000 watt output, 10,000 watt on its surge. And it has the automatic start, so you don't have to be, no muscle bound person to pull it, especially in cold weather. And it was actually cheaper than Harbor Freight. The biggest one Harbor Freight had, this one was still, I think, $150 less. Let me go ahead and start opening it up, and I'll come back to this. And it got to my house in, I think, 7 days. Okay. Open up the top. No oil in unit. Put oil in before starting. 8.3 gallon tank. 32 liters. Starting out, I didn't notice this, but that's nice. So I can actually tell how much it has in there. It's got the owner's manual right there on top. I don't see any other tools up on top. Packaging is very little, but I guess since it's coming on a freight truck, they don't do too much. Right here has a box, good sized box too. Might need 2 hands to pull it out. All right, I'll be back. All right, I pulled it out. I have to cut that still. This thing is buttoned down real tight. Okay, it's the wheels, battery, look like a battery charger. That's the little leg that sits in front. Comes with a 30 amp, 120, 250 plug, and then a regular 120 plug. Okay, it comes with the 30 amp 120 that RVs use, and the other leg. And it look like all that's left is 2 wheels, solid rubber, no air. Feel like a cheap, somewhat like a sponge rubber type material. But I mean, it feels okay. I wouldn't leave it outside like my other generator. Oh. Okay. All right, that's the handle, a key, I guess, to start it, cotter pins, and nuts and bolts. Look like everything for tires. And that's the handle to lift it up. This is the cheapest material I have ever seen right here. It's like those one-time use raincoats. I tried to unclip the button and it just came apart. Okay, that's with the wrenches, the socket for the spark plug, and a screwdriver. Phillips flat screwdriver. I probably never used them, but came with that. And then the rest look like this generator. Oh, this looks nice. I can see it has the big handle. Okay, I'll cut the box open, drag it out, and get a better view of it. Okay, I cut open the front of the box, just like that. Made sure that I pulled it off the side because it's actually touching this side. Where the box is the only space you have. I didn't want to scratch it up. And that is the only protection it's got. It's in a bag. No damage. I did that. Got all your little instructions here. We'll get into it better. And the side that you, the choke is written like that. Gas off. That's it. All right, we'll come back. After taking it out of the bag, I seen a little washer. I have to figure out where it comes from. It's a 16 horsepower engine. The choke is, I like how it's written over the Harbor Freight ones. I don't like that, it's plastic, but we'll see. The welds are not the prettiest welds. It looks like it was a rough weld and then they grind it down to make it look good. Right there. But for the price, and the price was $549 or $559. Muffler has the spark arrest. Oh, the battery's already included. It just needs to be hooked up. The ground side anyway, the negative side has to be hooked up. It's got a 50 amp right there. So that's the one I'll run to the house. Has a circuit breaker, the 12 volt. These feel identical to the Harbor Freight ones, which is just okay. It's got a timer, digital, real good. The key. Well, I don't really like that I only have one 120, even though I won't be using that for that, but I'd like it if it had a quad. So that's round it. I'll go ahead and put on the wheels and then come back to it. Okay, the diagram is already showing something incorrect. On right here it shows a washer, a spacer, a washer. Well, only 2 washers per side came. So I guess I will skip the washer on this on this side. Let me see what it looks like. And then the bracket here is a good heavy sturdy bracket, but now with me missing one washer, let me see if I have a washer in my collection. I'll be back. Could not find one. So what I'll do is say you take that, slide it in, and after you slide, oh well, you put a washer. Start it off with a washer. Drop that in. You have to put the other washer and then the spacer, and that should be it, and it goes in that way. So then you put the cotter pin, well, it's supposed to be one more washer and then the cotter pin. So we'll see. Well, it would not work the way the drawings show because that's all the space I have for this little cotter pin. If I put one more washer here, I don't have enough room. So it should be just like it is there. On both sides of the wheel has a washer, a spacer, push the shaft through the bracket, and then put your cotter pin in there. I'll do the other side now. All right, I put the other one in. It was even tighter than the first one. That's all she does. I put the key in and feels real nice. I mean, the spring is solid. The clicks are crisp. Everything is real nice on that one. Okay, the vent tube goes back into the housing for the filter. Housing for the filter is just screw out. So that's real nice. Don't have to get any tools to get to it. Well, that I might be changing. It's just a sponge. So that was real bad. The gas is in the off position. Going that way, it has it written right there too, on and off, so if ever that fades, it's still good. And the choke, I saw the choke had it somewhere else. So it just has a number for the part on this. So you just have to remember, choke is that way. And that's just like all the Honda clones. They all flip to that direction. This is a Honda clone. And I have changed out Honda clone motors, the carbs, to a Honda carb. Whenever they go bad, they're real hard to find, these clones. So I've just changed them out to Hondas and they work just as good. All right, I'll be back. Let me put this back on. Okay, so now I just lifted this side to get on the little feet. They just tack weld like scrap piece of metal in the middle and then just tack weld on it. And you could already see look like the powder coat is already bubbling in this one. No washes, it just has the locks on the nuts. So I'll go ahead and put that one in and come back to it. All right, while I'm putting on the foot over here, use my lock thread, the red one. Looking up, has a dent. This couldn't be done in shipping nor in the building of it because this is soft. So that couldn't put a dent in there. So it must have been when they're stacking the tanks. Now I'm just showing you that's what's there. It's not something to complain about. You probably hold a tablespoon less of fuel. That's about it. I'll go ahead, and it does say to put the bolt at the top, the nut at the bottom, and the wrenches that they sent does work. It's a 13 millimeter. I'll go ahead and put the other side on and then put the handles on. Okay, next thing that didn't work out, I slipped this in. That's for the handle to lift. It came with two handles on this one here. You have one here, one on the other side. These cotter pins would not fit for the wheel because of the tight position, and they won't fit in the hole here. So good thing I have my own cotter pins. I have to use my own to finish this up, but that's something you might run into. Maybe this one just didn't have the room in the back. Maybe the next ones do. Okay, got the handles on. it lifts up good. It's sturdy. Now to hook up the ground, the negative. The positive is already hooked up to the starter. The negative should go to that screw in there. And then that should be it with the battery you have to do. Then all I have to do is top it off with oil and some fuel and go through the break-in period. I'm gonna read up on it so I do it correct because I don't want to mess anything up. So I'll be back. Okay, the last thing before the start, I put anti-seize on everything here. Put the bolt back in, the wire is hooked up. Cover it up here. And then I turned it up so that it's not touching anything and go straight to the battery without rubbing, because motors like this vibrate a lot. That engine vibrates it, and then it can rub something into there and break it loose when you're least expecting it. And I have to put a ground rod into the ground, and then it hooks up on that. The ground rods I have is, I think they look like 5/8. I have two of them. One is for the garage, and one is for that. I think they're 10 feet long. I think they're 10 feet long, so I have to put them in the ground. All right. Okay. The oil that you're using depends on where you live. If it drops below, it looks like about -5 degrees Fahrenheit, or 20 below in Celsius, then you can use from 10W30 up. If it goes from below that, then 530. And if it stays basically Florida weather, then you can go straight 30. So then the oil fill, you can't overfill it, even though they said overfill, because it shows right when it comes out, that's full. So it's no way of really overfilling it. I opened it up, and it does have a strainer. You can pull the strainer out to clean it up. It comes out without any fight. So now I'll go get the oil. The sediment cup is right there. It has a whole list of times to change it, which varies on the way you treat your machine. The spark plug gap is right here. And you have a time on checking it and all that. Everything else is basically what you do on any machine that you have at your house, just regular basic maintenance. Okay, I see no break-in period for the exception of this chart right here. And it goes with the first month or 12 hours to change out the oil. Then after that is every 100 hours or 6 months. That's everything else that you have to check and adjust and clean in and replacements. That's it here. So now we can go ahead to the startup.